Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to film the 11th and final episode of the My Favorite Ram Treasures tournament. So, at the conclusion of this video, yet another tournament will be in the books. And I've got to say, guys, this has probably been one of the most enjoyable tournaments I've made. Yeah, I got to knock on Ram Treasures a little bit, but I also got the opportunity to really praise them for the amazing figures that they did come out with. And that's what it should be like, you know. You don't want to just give one side of the story. You want to be able to knock on every aspect of a figure, especially if you're a collector and whatnot. You know, these really were a lot of fun to make. I really wish I had a lot more backstory, you know, for a lot of these figures, but it is what it is. I've enjoyed making them. I've enjoyed going back and rewatching them as a fan at that point. So hopefully you guys kind of feel the same way. So just give you a view of the last three figures standing. So very well possibly the three best figures from Random Treasures. Before we do get into the main event, which is talking about the three figures, before I make my final selection, you know we can't move on without first doing a reflection on how we got here. So, we will start with all the matchups and victors leading up to this matchup. So, in round one, Mr. Perfect defeated Hulk Hogan, Smash defeated Mike Sharp, Hawk defeated the Pink Shirt Referee, and Barry Windham defeated Bushwhacker Luke. In round 1, part 2, Jerry Lawler defeated Bushwhacker Butch. And it's kind of sad that the Bushwhackers were both eliminated in the first round, because they are at least round 2 figures. So that was, again, disappointing right there. Sika defeated Ron Bass. Razor Ramon defeated Ivan Putski. And Dusty Rhodes defeated Rip Thomas. In episode 1-3, Arn Anderson defeated Ron Simmons. Alpha defeated Lex Luger. Butch Reed defeated Steve Williams. And The Ultimate Warrior Volume 2 defeated Virgil. In 1-4, we saw the Barbarian overtake Ric Flair. Abdullah Butcher defeated Bad News Brown. Terry Taylor defeated King Haku. And finally, Zeus defeated the Green Suit $1 Million Man. Moving on to there was one more video. Axe defeated Bob Backlund. Brother Love defeated Rick Rude. Sid Vicious over Sting. Dino Bravo over Mil Mascaris. And in the first three-man matchup, Tully Blanchard and Animal both moved on over Macho Man. In round 2, Butch Reed defeated Mr. Perfect. Smash defeated Alpha. Brother Love defeated Razor Ramon. And Arn Anderson defeated Tully Blanchard. Next, Barbarian defeated Sika in episode 2-2. Dusty Rhodes defeated Terry Taylor. And Jerry Lawler defeated Dino Bravo. In round 2, part 3, Abdullah defeated Hawk. Barry Windham over Axe. Sid over the Ultimate Warrior. And Zeus defeated Animal. Moving on to round 3, Abdullah defeated Smash. Sid over Butch. Barry Windham defeated Brother Love. Dusty Rhodes over the Barbarian. And in the next three-man matchup, Jerry Lawler and Zeus moved on over Arn Anderson. In round 4, Sid Vicious defeated Barry Windham. Dusty Rhodes defeated Jerry Lawler. And Zeus defeated Abdullah the Butcher. So, once again, here in round 5, the finals, we have Zeus, Dusty, and Sid all squaring off against each other. So, generally, I like to talk about the Galoob figures first. I don't know, it just makes it easier, I think. And with all of these figures, again, there really isn't anything additional I can add to any of them. So, I could either make this a very quick video, less than 10 minutes, and just hurry up and choose somebody, or I could try and talk about something different, but there's really nothing to add after, 4 complete rounds. Sid Vicious. Again, I've talked about how this figure was my inspiration for really enjoying the Big John Studd original LJN figure. Now, coming out in 84, where Sid Vicious Galoob would have come out in Series 1 in 1990. Was this the inspiration from that LJN Big John Studd? I don't think so, because if you actually see an old stock photo of Sid Vicious as a skyscraper, yeah, you see him making this exact same pose. So the pose makes a lot of sense based on that photo. And of course, a lot of the time, even with guys like Jimmy Hart, you saw it in original San Francisco toy makers. The manufacturer got a picture of the character, and Jimmy Hart, because he looked dark-skinned in the picture, they made a dark-skinned Jimmy Hart figure. And a super rare, crazy expensive figure if you ever find one, especially on card. Upwards of $1,000 easy. Always loved the pose. Yeah, because because Hasbro, I just really enjoyed the figures a lot more. And because they were WWF, and I really didn't watch WCW really at all, outside of a few matches here and there on TV, or through the Best of Sting or something like that. But we had Sid Vicious, and because we weren't really into WCW, I have no idea how we ended up with all of these WCW action figures. And I always said, to me, Galoob was like the characters across the railroad tracks, where Hasbro was your Beverly Hills figures. You would find them in KB Toys, especially Toys R Us, huge bundle, a lot of figures in Toys R Us. And these, the Galoob figures, you'd really only find them, I've only ever seen them in dollar stores, or one premier dollar store. I don't remember seeing them anywhere else. So they weren't exactly the most beloved figures ever. I'm thinking maybe my mom went shopping there, saw some wrestling figures, and picked them up. And when you look at the Steiner brothers, okay, did she ever pick them up on single card, dual card? I have no idea. But all I know is that Sid Vicious was an absolute go-to character for play during childhood. And so 1990 release, I was 5 years old. I think I was still wrestling these guys up till age 8, age 9, age 10, maybe not. I think age 8, age 9 kind of makes sense, because in 1993, Power Rangers came out, and I was an obsessive Power Ranger fan and collected all the toys. Never played with them. I basically put them on a shelf and I would display them. So, kind of an odd kid in that sense. Never actually playing with my toys, but desperately wanting them. And, Power Rangers was my favorite show for years. And I think that show only got passed up in 97 when Buffy became my new all-time favorite show. Sid Vicious, I kind of classified this figure along with, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, kind of in the same boat. They are my George Washington of favorites. Sid Vicious will probably always be my George Washington of action figures. Buffy the Vampire Slayer will always be my favorite. Will be my George Washington of TV shows. And I kind of explained what that meant in the past. So just to kind of explain for those who may not have seen that video. So in the 1900s, when General Pershing and I can never remember the other general, but there were 2 4-star generals, and they were promoted to 5-star general. The only 2 5-star generals in U.S. history. And at that point, they were, 5-star generals of the Army. So they outranked, George Washington and every other soldier, past or present. In 1976, during America's bicentennial, Congress posthumously promoted George Washington to 5-star general and notated that he would outrank every soldier, past or present. So he would automatically outrank everyone regardless. I kind of feel the same way about Sid Vicious. That this has always been my all-time favorite figure. And no matter how much more I enjoy another figure, this will always stand at the top. So instead of being my number one figure, it would technically be 0. Nothing above it, nothing behind, well, nothing above it essentially, but obviously your 1 would be right behind it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I could think that a million other shows are better than it, right? But Buffy will always be my all-time favorite show, irrelevant how much I enjoy another show. And that's why it's so difficult for me to put down Sid Vicious. At the end of the day, when I looked at my favorite tag team tournament, there's a reason I selected the 4-inch Galoob figures of Barry Windham and Sid Vicious to move on, and they made it all the way to the finals, where the LJN versions of them, they made it extremely far, but, obviously not to the end. To me, they will always be Galoob. Nothing meant more to me from Random Treasures than getting Sid Vicious. Absolutely loved the figure. Did the wrestler himself, Sid Vicious / Sid Justice, did that mean any more to me than any other character during that time? Not really. I just really like the big guy, and, like I said, it's an action figure tournament after all, and this, to me, has always been the cream of the crop of action figures. The issue with this is you're also dealing with 2 extremely fantastic figures that followed in the last year or so. So, Dusty Rhodes is obviously the most recent pickup from Random Treasures. This figure's only been out a few months, and they've done him justice. Absolute legend everywhere he went. I kind of feel like Dusty Rhodes didn't get the opportunity to succeed as well in the WWF as he probably would have, especially when you compare to what he's done in other programs, like WCW and, in Japan, etc. Because, I don't know, maybe he just didn't simply get along with Vince McMahon. I'm trying to remember where I heard the story from, and it's killing me. I can't remember. I don't know if it was an interview or if it was somebody's channel I was watching and they brought it up, but the story that I heard was Dusty Rhodes and Vince McMahon didn't have the best relationship, and Vince McMahon was kind of trying to humiliate Dusty, and that's why you see him in the black and yellow singlet. And Dusty Rhodes didn't even stay in the WWF for too long. 1991, Hasbro released his first WWF figure, and it was immediately pulled off the shelves. So, yeah, you got a ton of Dusty Rhodes cards out there, but the amount of figures that you could find still mint on card today is almost impossible to find. Anyone that has them aren't willing to sell them, and those that do have them on sale are just asking a ludicrous amount of money. We're talking $3,000 plus for it. I've seen the figure go on auction a few different times over the last couple of years, and it normally hovered close to $1,000, $700-800. And you really got to imagine that the going rate or the market value of a figure really should be based on auction price, right? If I take this figure and I put him on auction and he sells for $200, as opposed to, me putting him up for $500 as an example, and somebody buys that, that just might be one person looking for this figure, as where on auction you got a ton of people who have eyes on that figure. But yeah, Dusty Rhodes Series 2 Hasbro, that one and the Series 8 Bret Hart are the only ones I need to complete the carded collection. And that thing just seems like it's going to elude me forever. Absolutely fantastic figure. I mentioned that he's got kind of like the Abdullah the Butcher arm with the hand in much closer. But the right arm gives you, he's an elbower, as I said before. He's not really a puncher. You always get the guys in the corner and starts elbowing them in the head. Beautiful, beautiful figure. All around. Love the bulkiness. That is a huge plus for this particular figure over the other two. just an absolute legend. Is Tiny Lister a legend as far as acting? He's made some fantastic cameos in movies, but well, I won't call them cameos, guest stars or whatnot, because he's not the main star of the episode or of the movie he's appeared in. Dusty Rhodes really is a legend in the business of wrestling. All right, so moving on to Tiny Lister Zeus. I've become a fan of this man since the No Holds Barred movie aired, and I obviously saw that as a small kid. And over the course of childhood, I don't know how many times I've seen that movie, but I've always enjoyed it. And up until earlier this year, it may have been last year, but I'm thinking early this year, I rewatched that movie for the first time in God knows how long. It could have been many years, several years. It could have been a couple decades. I don't really remember. But I was probably not even a teenager the last time I saw it. And I'm probably thinking I was even younger than that. 10 years old, 8 years old, I don't remember. But that movie still holds up today. And it's so awesome because there are a lot of movies like Hellraiser. I think Hellraiser is one of the greatest horror movies ever created. I finally got my wife to watch that movie earlier this year. Again, because I'm retired and I'm home all day, every day, and all the days bleed in. It could have been last year, but I'm going to say earlier this year. And I was kind of disappointed. I know that she hated it. She didn't like it at all. And even I had to agree. It just didn't feel like that awesome, legendary horror movie I remember from childhood. I still think part 2 and part 3 are far superior, but at that point, she saw the first one, didn't like it. I don't think I will have the ability to persuade her to watch the others, but yeah, the No Holds Barred, childhood or adulthood, it doesn't matter. The movie held up. It was a fun movie all around. Good comedy, good action scenes. And Zeus, I mean, I was so glad I picked up the Rip Thomas figure when I did because, as I said before, a couple days later, this guy was on the Etsy page and picked him up immediately. And because, I always say I live on eBay, and I'm always checking Etsy on a daily basis as well. I always feel like I'm like the very first person to ever see the new uploads from Ram Treasures. And sometimes, like a day or two later, New 80s Revolution will get a package in the mail, and he'll make a video that day with the new action figure. And I've always enjoyed, listening to those reviews and stuff. But again, they're not as authentic as you'd like to hear. Sometimes you kind of look at his face, and you can tell that he's not happy with the figure. But he's got to advertise for him, so he's got to make it sound more, better than what it is. But when you get a figure like this, I mean, you just know it's sheer genuineness because this is such an incredible piece. When he said Dusty Rhodes could be the greatest action figure from Ram Treasures, I might have to agree. This very well could be the number one figure. So with three figures remaining, I mean, every time I have a tournament, I kind of say the same thing, and it's just like I just want to cheat my way out of it and just anoint everybody as co-winners. They're all so freaking good, and I kept thinking that Sid Justice or Sid Vicious Galoob made it to my finals in the last My Favorite LJN tournament. I just watched the video yesterday because I wanted to watch that, or at least not the whole thing, but just parts of it, and I was wrong. Sid Vicious did not make, because I filmed the semi and the finals together in the same video. I thought he was like a last 3 finalist. That wasn't the case. He was a semi-finalist, but semi-finalist or finalist, pretty much the same boat. He was one of the last 5 guys standing, and that's an excellent run. I absolutely love Sid Vicious. To me, I think this is the greatest figure Ram Treasures has ever come out with. I am going to shock the world, guys. Sid Vicious is gotta pause for dramatic effect. Sid Vicious is the first figure I put down. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like it's cheating to have a Galoob 2-up as the greatest Random Treasures exclusive. I mean, does any of the 2-ups deserve to win? Absolutely. Is it really cheating? I think a lot of people would argue no. I think I still argue no. But I want a real exclusive. And I kind of feel like these two figures are your real exclusives. Where obviously the Galoob figures are just blown up to LG and rubber size. That's all it is. So, do I love the pose? Yes. Is it any better than these two? Maybe not so much Dusty Rhodes. I think they're about adequate. In the last video, I kind of mentioned that I feel like these two figures could have taken votes away from each other, and that Sid Vicious had the best opportunity to win. But you got to make a quick choice, and I feel like it's better to at least make one immediate elimination and try and pick 1 out of 2 than 1 out of 3 figures. Still, Sid Vicious, a finalist. I mean, a hell of a run. You got to be pleased with that. Trying to look at this. Body slam. Obviously, right arm under, much better. The pose of Dusty Rhodes, I really would have liked if his legs were expanded a little bit further. But because he's like Greg Valentine, he's standing straight up, I mean, you're not going to get that leg separation as much. When you look at figures like, you know, Stud and Andre and Hogan from Series 1, Kamala in Series 4, they got that crouch in their knees. Their knees are bent and their legs are spread apart. So the arm positioning is fantastic for perfect body slams. But they themselves have that perfect positioning to be body slammed. Zeus has it a little bit better, obviously. We just saw Dusty Rhodes slam him. And they both have that glossiness to them, which is fantastic. So it's not just guys like Virgil and Abdullah Butcher, Zeus. I've seen it on Jerry Lawler. I've seen it on Dusty Rhodes. So, you know, a number of figures do have that as well. So that's really awesome. They both have very fun cartoon face looks, you know. Again, I've said before, I know it's 2023, but you really don't want that 3D printed head where it looks like a real life person. You want something genuine that matches with the original 1980s design of the figures. And so you're going to get sometimes that generic look or that more of a cartoon type look to it. And that's perfectly fine. And with Zeus, I've always appreciated the gloss and the look of the figure, what he meant as a character in one of my favorite movies. I'm really starting to appreciate the look in his eyes. Like, the way that his eyes are kind of cross-eyed and that smile he gives you, very psychotic. Just an absolute insane look on all fronts. One of my absolute favorite characters in a movie. Dusty Rhodes, an absolute legend in the wrestling world. Pose alone, Dusty Rhodes has it. Color scheme, you know, they match out pretty well. Dusty with a little bit more flash to him. And of course, I like the dual colored hair on the back, and that looks pretty solid. I think I have to go with Dusty, right? It makes sense that Dusty Rhodes would be the top figure from Random Treasures. I mean, he's got the bulk that I really appreciate. Your winner of the first annual My Favorite Random Treasures exclusive is Zeus. I would argue that pretty much a dozen or more figures in this tournament had a legitimate chance to win. And I still think that is a true statement. But at the end of the day, from the first time I saw this on Etsy to the time that I picked them up, got him in the mail. I always thought that this had to be the greatest Random Treasure figure of all time. Is he necessarily going to be a George Washington of Random Treasures? That no matter how much more I like another figure, he will always be number one? Maybe not, but I still think he's a phenomenal figure. And I said it before, I think if you take any 20 action figures from LJN, from Random Treasures, from the big rubber guys, basically any person who has ever customized an action figure in their life, you're talking probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of figures, because I'm sure there are a ton of figures made by each customizer. I think this would be a top 20 figure. That is how much I love the Zeus action figure. I think it is a sensational figure. And again, for me being able to throw that silver belt on this figure, it really ties in the overall look of the Zeus. And I am so pleased to be able to announce that Zeus wins my tournament. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Is there anybody out there who thought I was going to choose Sid? Is there anyone out there who thought I was going to choose Dusty, etc.? Please let me know where you think I was going to go, because I thought about it at length last night after I filmed my semifinals video. So pretty much the rest of the day yesterday and into today, and up until the time I was making this video, I hadn't chosen. Up until the time that I was talking about Sid Vicious right at the end, right before I put him down, I still hadn't chosen. It was so difficult. I think in the last few seconds, I'm like, you know what, Sid Vicious, I have to put him down. It just made sense. And the fact that he's a Galoob 2-up, did that really play into a role? I think it did a little, but it's still exclusive at the end of the day. He would have been a fantastic winner. Any one of these three guys would have been a fantastic winner, but to me, Zeus, perfect choice, at least for me. So, guys, that does complete the Random Treasures exclusive tournament. 11 videos. So, what made this better? Twofold. Number one, there wasn't as many figures, so I was able to get this done a lot sooner. And second, being able to post these videos every single day as opposed to every 2 days or every 3 days, every 4 days, etc. allowed me to get these videos up a lot sooner, and it gives me the opportunity to make at least some more videos before the year changes. I've already said before, guys, as you know, in 2024, the plan is to move away from wrestling, to move away from collections. Now, don't be scared. Wrestling tournaments, shout-out videos, reviews, my collections, these will always be part of the channel, okay? I'm not going to stop making those videos. And in fact, I still think the plan is still 50, 60, even 70% of the videos will still be, these type of videos that I'm accustomed to making. But I want to make other content as well. I always said things like religion and politics, things I really didn't care about, was never going to play a role in my videos, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it just to have something additional to talk about. Stir conversations. Talk about things that people are divided on. And what are some of the most divisive aspects of life? I don't know. Abortion. Death penalty. Things like that. Talking about the most divided concepts, most divided topics. I know if I bring up what I think, I'm probably going to have 1 million people trying to cancel me. Nah, it won't be that bad, but that's what I want to do, guys. I want to bring other topics of discussion into the channel. And, one day I might talk about baseball, ridiculous high contract prices. Shohei Ohtani, I just read, signed a 10-year, $700 million contract. I mean, baseball contracts over the last decade are just so astronomical and ridiculous. And I think it's one of the reasons why I don't watch or talk about baseball as often as I did in the past, is because it's ridiculous. You don't pay almost $1 billion for one player. That is freaking ludicrous. 70 mil on a season for one guy. That's an entire payroll for some organizations. Yeah, so I don't want to do that yet in 2023. I haven't done so this year, so I'm going to stay away from it. 2024, I do plan on incorporating a lot more videos, a lot more topics. I've been begging my wife to come in and make videos with me. Just kind of the way that she talks to me, the way that she like pokes fun at me and stuff. I just think it would be a lot of really fun. You know, people will get a lot of good humor and stuff out of it. And I think that would bring in more couples and stuff as well. You know, just kind of see that how we interact with each other. Like I said, I think other couples, you know, couples that are dating, married couples, whatever. I just think that, you know, they could like poke fun at us, but hey, that's us or something. Just, you know, good fun. And after this video, I still want to continue the dailies. I'm really enjoying being able to put up videos every day. And I've said it before. Once I post the video, I'm no longer the content creator. I'm a fan, and I enjoy watching these episodes just as much as anybody else. So tomorrow, I plan on, so today's Sunday, so on Monday, I will post this video. Monday afternoon or so, I will make the bootleg mannix videos, the ones that I got from alexgoodchild, and I'll talk about his website a little bit more, and I'll talk about his eBay channel or his eBay account as well. Again, kind of give him that extra shout out, as again those mannix figures came from him. So after that, I know I mentioned I might want to redo the original San Francisco Toy Makers review videos. And do I want to do that still? I wouldn't mind. I'd actually love to. Excuse me, but the way all the figures are sitting on the back shelf and stuff, I'd hate to just have to pull all those figures down. That's what's going to get me. But the figures with like, you know, the specific arm pose, I think that would be a fun video. Oh, recently from Justin on the Raider Nation off eBay. I've done a lot of videos for him as well. I just got in a Howard Finkel figure, and this just a beast of a figure, Andre the Giant. I mean, that guy towers over even your, even like someone like Greg Valentine or Brutus. You know, your really tall figures, he just hovers over them. Love that figure. Doesn't really mesh well with the original LJNs, not really, but it's still a great figure. Love it. But that Howard Finkel figure got me thinking about a new possible tournament. You know what I have to do? I have to create tournaments because I just enjoy these so much. And I thought about doing like a My Favorite Manager tournament. Now, we're not talking 20 or 30 figures. You know, we're probably talking about maybe a dozen or so. And a lot of them, like Elizabeth, for example, might be, you know, duplicates. You know, original Elizabeth compared to some of her custom figures. So, but like guys that are listed on the card as managers, whether or not they're a manager. So like Vince McMahon might be thrown in there, and his custom figures. You're gonna see the different Elizabeths. You're gonna see both Mean Gene and all of his customs, the Howard Finkel, Freddie Blassie, Lou Albano, etc. So I could probably start making those videos maybe during the middle of the week and have those ready for me posted, because I think that would be fun. Do I post them every day? Maybe. I think a tournament like that would only go like 2 or 3 rounds. Like I said, with all the customs, you're probably looking at more than a dozen figures, but you're probably still looking at less than 20. So, or I could do it like, hey, here's a figure, here's A, here's B. I like A better than B. A versus C. A versus D. D wins. D versus E. You know, something like that. But I don't want to do it like that. I like doing it, the blind drawings. Especially for something like that, I think it would work better. So if that's something that you guys think would be an awesome video, I probably won't make those until maybe Thursday or something. So I'll give you guys some time after you watch this video to let me know in the comments if that's something that would interest you. I definitely want to have eyes on the video. So if you guys tell me, no, I wouldn't be interested in that, I won't make it, because there's no point making a video that people aren't interested in. And I try to make something interesting for everybody. That's why I do so many concepts, so many different toy lines and whatnot. Alright guys, that is it for now. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun, and hopefully I could still make this video in the years to come. And, you know, with Random Treasures always coming out with new figures, we would always have additional figures to add on to. My favorite LJN tournament, is that still coming? Again, you guys decide. I haven't decided if I want to do a third one or not. I don't think it has to be made, but I'll do it if you guys want to. It's, again, it's for the fans, so... thanks for watching, everybody. I will talk to you in the comments and see you in the next video.